All right. Well, welcome back to this Becoming Better with Startup Experts podcast. My name is Pyle. I'm a longtime Startup Experts member. We are recording a marathon of podcasts from Transform. So Transform 2026, one of the biggest gatherings that Startup Experts has in person every year. And now I get to interview Boost, who is a new-ish member of Startup Experts. Boost, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm super excited to be here, and I am very grateful for you all tapping me to have this conversation. So again, my name's Boost. I work at a bridge, and I focus on people programs. I'm located in San Francisco. Yeah.
Nice. Amazing. Okay. How long have you been in the HR space, in the talent space? Tell us a little bit about your
Yeah, I
background.
think I'm getting close to about 10 years in people and talent as a whole. All of my expertise is focused on the people side of the house. So I started my career at Connery Consulting, where I really got to see the full roundabout of people and talent practices. So that was an incredible opportunity.
And tell me about your team. How many are there other people within a bridge that are doing HR work, or are you a team of one?
Yeah, I have the privilege of working with a truly incredible team. At the moment, we have our VP of people who oversees the people and the talent side of the organization. We have two business partners that are segmented with their centers of excellence. And then we have a people operations team, which is three people at the moment.
Wow.
And we are
Okay.
rapidly scaling. I think we're probably looking to double our headcount across the company
And
this
how
year.
many people do you have now?
We're about 435
Holy
employees.
moly. Okay.
Yes.
So a big startup.
Yes. And last year we were maybe 190 in January.
Okay.
So yeah, we've seen quite some growth.
Hyper scaling. And what level of funding?
I believe we're at Series E.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
I am super curious when you joined Startup Experts.
Yeah, so I think my journey to Startup Experts was maybe a little bit unique. I don't know, maybe a lot of people have this experience, but I think I found Startup Experts at the right time. I had just been laid off in the great era of tech layoffs.
Okay.
So in September of 2023, I was laid off with 250 other people at my past company. And so I was looking to build community and network, and someone recommended Startup Experts to me. I was like, oh, I don't know. They have an application process. Like, am I going to get in? And ultimately, when the doors opened up for me, it was an incredible community of resource and camaraderie and thought partnership. And so it is something that has been incredibly valuable to me over the past year and a half, probably almost 2 years now.
Did you attend any of the keynotes this morning?
This morning I sat in on the keynotes, and really just like my takeaways are reflecting on like what is the future of AI, and like how does that change the way that we work as people teams, right? How does it change the work of a generalist? How does it change the work of a business partner? And for me personally, I'm thinking about how the future of performance management changes.
Yeah.
Is there a world where like managers never have to write a performance review during a cycle because they've documented over time, and one of the models writes the performance review for them? So those are some of the reflections I have coming out of the keynotes this morning.
Sessions this morning. So I want to double click a little bit more on that, because I'm curious about two things. You work at an AI company that is hyper scaling. Do you feel like there are higher expectations on the people team to stay up with the times? Or are you giving a little grace to kind of catch up to where your engineers, your product people might be?
Yeah, it's a fantastic question. I think we're really privileged to have a VP of people who is deeply invested in the future of our team's development, and also in knowing that AI is the future. For example, we had an all-company gathering in February, and for our team, we did an AI hackathon.
Great.
And I was truly blown away by some of the things that people built. People who had never used Claude or Cursor before that session. And we had recruiters building full dashboards for the entire candidate journey that were customizable, and they changed based on where somebody was in their interview process. So, yeah, we are deeply investing in our own education and use cases for AI across our different teams.
Performance management look like when a manager doesn't actually write a review, but rather you aggregate data over time? What scares you about using AI in performance management?
Yeah.
Is there anything, or what gives you pause or apprehension?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is another takeaway from the morning session. There was a comment made that like we went really woke and then we went anti woke, and now we need to figure out how we work in the middle. And one thing that I always think about when I'm thinking about performance management is like, how are we making sure that we're giving people the right opportunities, especially for folks in marginalized communities who may not advocate for themselves in a way that um, folks from non-marginalized communities do, right? And so, in thinking about performance and review writing, like how are these models accounting for that? Knowing that the model training may not have been from folks of diverse backgrounds, or we're thinking about the experience of folks in marginalized communities, and how potentially AI may discriminate against those people. Like,
Yep.
what is the kind of like systemic biases of AI in and of itself?
And I think there's a session on the agenda, and I don't know who it is or what it was, but it was talking about like when AI makes a mistake, who takes on the risk, like
Yeah.
who's accountable. So it sounds like that's a big part of really thinking thoroughly end to end about talent and performance management.
Yeah.
What's something you're hoping to leave with from this conference?
Yeah, this is a great question. It's my first time here.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I am kind of absorbing everything, and I think that there's a lot to absorb. So I've really tried to be very strategic about the sessions that I'm attending, but also being open to like building connections with other folks that I already know and I'm reconnecting with, or folks that I've never met before. So I think for me, the big takeaways are like, yeah, again, like what does the future of performance look like? Or even what does the future of engagement look like? How do we look at engagement? And what's the relationship between the two? We had a session yesterday on like what is your brand within the startup experts community, and like how do you tell your story as a people person? And I walked away from it not with all the answers, but with the question of like, what is the relationship between performance and engagement?
Yeah.
And how do we use those as predictors for each other?
Amazing. And it's hard. These aren't like, I'm saying amazing, but it's like, because you're blowing my mind in terms of all the things we have to think about as
Yeah.
people leaders enabling this technology in the world of work. What scares you about, I mean, the theme of so much of the last few years has been AI.
Yeah.
You kind of spoke to this, but like anything that scares you about what you're hearing at this conference, or what you're kind of thinking about in the world?
I do my best to try not and operate from a place of fear, because I think that oftentimes that can move you to make decisions that you wouldn't normally make if you were kind of grounded. I think things that I think about, but I don't want to embrace like too much fear about them, is like, what does the future of my job look like? What does the future of my peers' job look like, right? And I mentioned what is the future of an HR generalist, right?
Yeah.
Like, is an HR generalist now going to be quality control for a series of agents that have been built to run HR processes? So these are some of the things I'm thinking about, right? Because I care about the people
Yeah.
that I work with, and
Right.
I see many of them are incredibly competent. And so how do we create workflows and manage agents in a way that we don't become redundant?
It's so fascinating because I think about this as we've such a long tail of nonsense that we're working on all the time in HR.
Yeah.
But I actually hadn't thought about what it looks like for a generalist to actually manage a bunch of agents, because that also feels like a lot of more tactical work. So it's going to be very interesting to know what the future actually ends up
just
being.
like a little bunch of mini me's like running around doing all the things that like I don't have bandwidth for. But in some ways, maybe it frees people up to do more strategic work.
Yeah. I
Which-
mean, that's the hope, right?
Yeah.
Because we so long in our function have been like bogged down
Yes.
by process. And we want, I think everyone that does this work wants to be able to be more strategic and connect with others. And so there is a high dream that that's what AI will enable us to do, but it's
Right.
just sort of the path that we're on to find out if that's true or not.
Yeah. Fingers crossed, like AI for good. Yeah, but I think it's up to us.
Yeah. It's been so fun to talk to you because we haven't met until today.
Right.
Well, what has being part of Startup Experts at Transform been like for you?
Yeah, I think
As a first timer too.
Yeah, I only realized I was coming. I only made the decision to come to Transform last week.
Oh,
I
wow.
only got registered on Monday of last week, and so I think for me, knowing that there is a group of people, even though I may not know all of them, that I have like a little bit of a nest, and if I see somebody with a little Startup Expert sticker, I can go up to them and be like, "I am overwhelmed," or "I have this insight." And so having a little bit of a safe space is really, really, I think, meaningful and validating.
Amazing. Any last takeaways? Anything else that is on your mind before we exit?
Yeah, so I think I posted on LinkedIn last week before coming here, and I was like, help, I don't know what to expect. And I got some really great advice. And so I think for me, I want to share a piece of advice with folks who are coming for their first time. Carry a bottle of water. Carry a bottle of water.
It is shocking how hard it is to find water in this place.
Yes.
Agreed.
That's a Vegas
I mean,
problem.
it is in the middle of the desert. So.
Yes. Carry a bottle of water. Keep your chapstick, your lotion, your hand sanitizer, all of the things to help you stay fresh and grounded. But more importantly than that, if you take nothing else away from it, smile at the person that you were walking by in the hallway, wave at them, and say hi. I think that is the best way to start building a relationship because you truly never know what you will receive from the other end of that conversation.
And I think that's a life lesson, right?
Yeah.
Like smile at the barista and say hi to the neighbors on your street.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you so much for being with us.
Yeah, thank you.
We are hopping and shaking and moving, but I really appreciate your time. And for those of us who joined us virtually, thank you for joining. This is the Becoming Better with Startup Experts podcast. For those who don't know, Startup Experts is a community of 2,500 HR ops and finance leaders across startups globally. And we are thrilled that you joined us.
Awesome. Thank you.